Welcome to my house, baby, take control now. We can't even damn it! You could have done a Bruno Mars song. Because we don't talk about Bruno. Whatever. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to StillerBros at the Movies. And today, we are talking about Bruno. We don't talk about it. What did I just say? We don't talk about him. Okay, we're talking about Encanto. Encanto. So, this has been a movie that is 5 years in the making, obviously, because it's an animated movie, and it is a kind of big deal for Disney, because it's the first time they're putting an animated movie exclusively out in theaters since the pandemic. Yes. Encanto is the latest in the Disney animated pantheon, and if I number 60. Yes, correct me if I'm wrong, but number 60, the 60th movie in the Disney animated canon, the second to feature music by Mr. Lin-Manuel Miranda. Side note: if you have not yet to see his directorial debut, Tick Tick Boom, get on that. It's on Netflix and it is fantastic. Yes, obviously, Lin-Manuel Miranda's had a big year this year with In the Heights, Tick Tick Boom, Encanto, and Vivo all coming out, and probably more to come depending on what he's been working on since all of this. But Encanto is a different story from Moana. Whereas with Moana, he was more of a songwriter for hire. Ron Clements and John Musker kind of came up with the story, of Moana, and at a certain point they were interviewing songwriters. And look, Lin-Manuel Miranda, hot off of In the Heights and Bring On the Musical, and in the middle of working on Hamilton, he's working on Moana. In this case, he was approached very, very early on in the development, so he got to actually contribute more to the story than anything. Mm-hmm. Whether or not that leads to an actual writing credit, we'll see when we actually watch the movie. Yes, but the directors of this movie are Byron Howard and Jared Bush, who are most known at this point in time for being two of the directors for Zootopia, which came out 5 years ago, and that was one of the best movies of 2016. Yeah, and turns out one of the most relevant. But in this one, it doesn't seem like they're going for anything as big metaphorically as that. I mean, obviously there's going to be big metaphors and stuff like that, but this isn't going to be as big as racism exists, even subconsciously. You need to kind of check your biases. But this one is more about just because everyone around you seems more special than you doesn't mean that it's not that you yourself are not special, and it's a theme that we already saw earlier this year with the Loud House movie. But the plot revolves around a big family. Oh shit! in a house. Shit. And anyway, the story revolves around Mirabelle, who is the one member of her family who is the one member of her family Madrigal. Oh, gee, hit that on the head, why don't you? Subtlety's a little out there, but who does not have a magical power of her own, and it's fun, and it's kind of fun because we got Stephanie Beatriz in the lead role as Mirabelle, who has also had kind of a big year with the fact that she closed at Brooklyn Nine-Nine and had a daughter. Yeah, so Stephanie Beatriz is having a big year, Lin-Manuel Miranda's having a big year. This is all just topping that stuff off. Yeah. And it's kind of fun because Mirabelle is, just gives off this dorky energy in all the clips we've seen of her, and her all the way down to her wearing glasses. So obviously this is a bit of a different role than we're used to seeing Stephanie Beatriz play. And other than that, we've got a movie kind of stacked with other talents like Wilmer Valderrama, who I believe actually gets more than like one scene, unlike with The Onward last year, where he just kind of showed up and it's like, that was it. And John Leguizamo as Bruno. We don't talk about him. Right. We don't talk about Bruno. They've got a whole song in the movie about that. Yes. But also along the way, Jermaine Franco, the co-writer of all the non-Remember Me songs from Coco, is doing the score. Yes. So this is a big and from what we can tell, this is one of the more showy musicals that Disney's put out in a long long time.
It seems to be bigger, like actual numbers instead of just singing during a scene.
Dance sequences, stuff that fun visuals, all that kind of stuff that just takes you into it. Not to say that Disney's been shirking on that, but earlier this year when they put out Raya and the Last Dragon, and there was a short film in front of the theatrical version, Us Again, and which was built entirely around dance. My biggest thing was, so Disney's gonna do a full-on Broadway musical now?
I mean, choreography was never a big thing for Disney musical numbers.
It's not that they've shirked on it, like everyone knows the Be Our Guest number and stuff like that.
Dancing has never been something that you pay attention to in an animated Disney film. This time around, we're going. This movie takes place in Colombia, and we are going with a lot more Latin flavored music.
It's good. It's certainly going to be interesting, and it is nice to hear. And from the two songs that I've heard, I've listened through the opening number, "Welcome to the Family Madrigal," and the "I Want" song, "Waiting for a Miracle," and that's it. But both of the songs kind of have shades of In the Heights in them, so it kind of feels like Lin's going a bit back to his roots with to this one. There's not. I don't think there's anything near as classical or broadly hip hop inspired as he did in Hamilton,
and to a lesser extent Moana.
So I don't know what to expect other than that, but it seems like it's a bit like this is a big like this is going to be a big musical extravaganza and a showcase of all the animation. And I mean, these animators have been cooped up in their houses for a year and a half like everybody else. They needed to let something out.
Yeah, and this is also. And also Disney's clearly making a big push for this to be seen because next month they're going to be dropping it on Disney Plus as a Christmas Eve release.
So if you have still been apprehensive to go back to a movie theater at any time in the past year, even if you're fully vaccinated, even if you're still going to put a mask on, even if you're still going to try to socially distance from everybody, if you've still been apprehensive, don't feel safe going to movie theaters right now, Disney's got you covered, because Christmas is good. Because this Christmas, you're going to be able to still watch Encanto before you, in a way shorter of a time frame than you got to watch it and most of the other stuff that we've been talking about this year.
Yeah, so there's that. But we're going to see it in the theater because we're vaxxed, we're boosted, we are set to go.
And we're seeing it in the daylight because this is a Thanksgiving release, and Thanksgiving is one of our busiest times of the year. Not because of this, but because of what we actually do for money.
Isn't being an essential worker great?
Yeah, it's great. Anyway, guys, we got off topic there. I know, just so out of character.
Yeah.
Anyway, we will see you guys after the show.
Yep.
So, now that we're out, bring tissues.
Yeah.
We didn't bring tissues because we're idiots.
Yeah.
And napkins kind of hurt your eyes, guys.
Yeah.
So, but otherwise, what did we think of the movie? I think it's kind of obvious we loved it.
It's some of the best work of modern Disney. It is such an incredible thing to behold, honestly.
And how good is it? With it before, as the opening number was going, Mason was sitting next to me saying, "Hey, I love this so much."
It was,
and he wasn't alone. I was thinking it. I just was not saying it.
It is beautiful, and let's get into it a little bit. The animation is incredible.
Once again, this is a more proper Broadway style musical than most other Disney movies have been, where the staging is very incredibly important. The characters are dancing. I wasn't paying much attention during certain parts of the credits, so I don't know if they hired an actual choreographer or anything like that. But it feels like there wasn't a single musical number where they didn't at least have something resembling a Broadway style dance number locked into it.
The music is probably some of the best Lin-Manuel Miranda has done. It is top tier Lin-Manuel Miranda music.
It's got Lin-Manuel Miranda's incredible wordplay, his perfect mix of emotional resonance and dad jokes.
It just has all. It's pop. It's hip hop. It is show tune. It is all of these things.
All just hitting every right emotional button that it needs to for every single scene.
We have Stephanie Beatrice in the leading role, and she carries this entire movie with all of her heart.
It's just incredible that it's just incredible to have her going around singing, playing this incredibly dorky character who just, even the way she moves at times is just awkward enough that it's just awkward. And I'm not saying that Disney hasn't been making the awkward heroine thing. Anna from Frozen and Moana are basically pretty good examples of that. But in this particular case, it feels like they just kind of built this character to be kind of an outsider, and so that's the way they went with it, where she's just got this energy about her.
And this is a lot smaller of a movie. Like, it feels huge, but it takes place all within like this one small area.
It mostly takes place like the 80% of this movie takes place, actually maybe more like 99% of this movie takes place within the confines of a small town, and all that is just, which
most
you
of
wouldn't
it
believe watching the trailers with how diverse the backgrounds seem to be, but
most of it even just in a one house,
and it's just amazing. And there's the little details throughout things, like the fact that Dolores, or the character Dolores, who has super hearing, talks kind of quieter than everybody else. And she's got this whole thing. Their mystery is so well thought out for this. Is that it plants little seeds throughout it, so that at certain points you're like, okay, I think I got this, but then it'll still hit you perfectly the way that it was meant to as it goes along.
And the emotional beats are just hitting you so hard, just with this amazing cast and this amazing story.
It's just so great. By the way, Lin-Manuel Miranda did get a story by credit in the end. He did build that much of the story that he got a writer's credit.
Yeah.
And yeah, Jermaine Franco's score is fantastic. I love the fact that she was able to work Lin-Manuel's score Lin-Manuel Miranda's songs in perfectly with her otherwise original score of Latin music that just fits so well over this incredible story.
Byron Howard and Jared Bush obviously showing that they are how good of directors they are, because the two of them have worked together before, and Byron Howard obviously is not a newcomer, having directed Tangled and all this other stuff, so we get to see a lot of those influences coming into this.
And I just love the characters. I love the physical comedy. I love the fact that everything seems to have a purpose in the movie, whether it be for a series of jokes or for the simple fact that this character is necessary for the plot of the plot. The relationships are so grand, fantastic, and it's one of those things where if you want to complain that it's that certain characters' relationships are kind of stock, then it's like they're stock so that you feel more emotion when they take a certain when they go in a certain direction.
Yeah,
it's stock so it can be relatable. I don't know if anyone has complained that why is dorky Mirabelle and her otherwise perfect sister, or her having this stupid argument over nothing, and it's like it's a stock simple connection through writing to make it mean something, to make it more relatable, to make it mean something to you when they take a certain detour.
Like, we go through these emotions with these characters. We get why these characters are acting the way they act.
We have all these characters. We have cute moments. We have taking moments of animation into just as character her growth. health. Waiting for a Miracle was one of the was only the second time I cried in it, but only because the first time was during the opening number when it was either me still recovering from the short film or just me loving or just me being so filled with joy over how wonderfully vibrant the visuals were in this.
From the way the characters move, the way they interact, the way they dance, like the choreography is beyond anything I've seen in animation before.
Us Again, like I said, Us Again gave me faith that there would probably be a Disney movie that could be somewhat set up like a typical Broadway musical, and I think this is a step closer to that. Because during certain musical numbers, during most of the musical numbers, there's never a time when these characters aren't moving.
They are constant. Every time they're on screen and there's a song, characters are on screen during a song, they're always moving. They're always, hands are in motion. They're shaking around their shoulders, or just move. They're moving in some way or another.
They're moving. The visuals are incredible because it's like that scene. It's like the rap solo from You're Welcome, but Helga. It's like the rap solo from You're Welcome built as a whole musical number. God, I just loved this movie so much. It's the best. I don't know if it just if something just finally knocked Suicide Squad down, but
it's a pretty big possibility that it's good. It's like top 5 for sure this year,
and it's just fantastic. I loved every second of it. I can't wait to see it again. It's so good.
Yeah.
Oh, it's so good. Anyway, guys, unless you got anything else to say.
I got nothing.
All right, so that's it. Encanto. It is fantastic. If you are even a little bit of a fan of Disney animated musicals, then I highly recommend it. We also still highly recommend Tick, Tick, Boom if you are a fan of musicals. Only if you could tolerate musicals. I think I wouldn't have to say that, but anyway. Anyway, guys, thanks for watching. Don't forget to subscribe to this channel, like this video, leave in the comments what you may or may not have thought of Encanto, and don't forget to tune in next time when we Scooby-Doo this crap.